Hi, and welcome to this video about Rule 11, the rule under which federal criminal defendants offer guilty pleas and under which judges are supposed to either accept them or not accept them. In what follows, you're going to see a colloquy or a conversation between the court and a defendant, where the defendant is in court pleading guilty or offering to plead guilty to a charge of possessing methamphetamine with intent to distribute under 21 U.S. Code Section 841A and 841B1B8. That's 841A and 841B1B8. The amount of methamphetamine at issue is 109 grams. And you should assume that before this clip begins, the judge has placed the defendant under oath and has informed him of the nature of those charges, the elements of the offenses under 21 U.S.C. Section 841. And so pick it up from there and follow along. And at the end, you'll be asked to determine whether the judge has or has not complied with Rule 11. So you might want to break out a copy of Rule 11, and as the colloquy goes on, check to see whether the judge has included everything or whether there are things the judge is missing. And then also think about whether, if there are things missing, whether those ought to result in the invalidation of the plea.
You realize you have an absolute right to go to trial and to force the government to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, Your Honor.
A reasonable doubt is one that would cause a reasonably careful and sensible person to hesitate in a highly important matter. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You would have a right, sir, to a trial by jury or a trial by a judge sitting without a jury. A jury would consist of a cross-section of the citizens of this district. Got that?
Yes, ma'am.
You could challenge any juror for cause if for some reason they were prejudiced against you. And you could challenge a limited number of jurors for any reason at all. Understand?
Yes, I totally get it.
At that trial you would have a right to move to suppress any evidence that might have been taken from you illegally. If you won, that evidence would be thrown out. Understand that?
Capiche, Your Honor.
What did you say, young man?
Yo comprendo, Your Honor. I understand.
At that trial you'd have a right to testify, and you'd have a right not to testify. If you chose not to, your failure to testify could not be held against you. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
At that trial you have a right to compulsory process. That is to say, you would have a right to subpoena witnesses to come in and testify on your behalf. Do you understand that?
Subpoena. Yes, I understand.
You could object to any error committed either by the judge, by the prosecutor, or even your own lawyer, and the evidence would be excluded or you'd get a new trial. Understand?
I understand that, Your Honor.
And if it were really bad, you could have the whole case thrown out on appeal. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Whereas if you plead guilty you have a very narrow right of appeal in which you could only challenge three things. 1. Whether the court has jurisdiction, meaning whether these are federal crimes and took place in this district. 2. Whether the sentence imposed is a lawful and proper sentence. And 3. Whether your guilty plea is knowingly and voluntarily entered. Which is why we are having this conversation. So that I can make sure you know what you are getting into and that you know what you are giving up. Do you understand all that?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the sentence here? I told him what the statutory maximum was. What does it look like under the sentencing guidelines? Any idea?
109 grams is the equivalent of a level 32, which translates as 168 to 210 months, Your Honor.
Of course. There is a chance you are going to get a 5K motion where they give you a nice cheap sentence, if you cooperate as they define the term. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Do you also understand that there is no guarantee they will make that motion? and that even if they do, there is no guarantee that I will grant it?
Awesome. I'm right there with you, Your Honor. They don't have to make the motion, and if they do, you do not have to grant it.
I might just max you out, if I think that is appropriate. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing all this, do you still wish to plead guilty?
Sure, yes.
Have you had any drugs or alcohol in the past 48 hours to include prescription medication?
No, ma'am. I don't go near the stuff. For real, Your Honor, I have not taken anything. I am sober.
Have you ever had any mental problems?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
Are you absolutely certain you want to plead guilty?
Totally 100% certain, ma'am.
Is this desire to plead guilty entirely your own choice, your own free will?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
I am prepared to find that this is a knowing and voluntary plea. Counsel, have I covered everything?